thank you. Thank you to the people of Missouri. Thanks for their confidence in me. We got a lot of work to do in the next 6 years. But it's a tremendous privilege. It's a tremendous honor. And I just feel, as I said to all these supporters tonight, my overwhelming feeling is one of gratitude. And there's a lot of hard work. So I'm going to roll up my sleeves. We're back in session next week, just a few days. And I'm anxious to get back at it.
Your top priority is going into a second term.
We got to close our border, number one. We've got to stop the flow of drugs into the state of Missouri. We've got to bring jobs back to the state, and we've got to get wages up. So there's a lot of work to do, and we need to get the nuclear radiation compensation bill passed for St. Louis, for St. Charles, and for the entire state. It is vital. That is probably my number one legislative priority, and I will not rest until it's done. I don't care how many years it takes me.
As you look at those Amendment 3 votes rolling in, how are you feeling?
You know, it's interesting. It's very close, very, very close. You guys probably have seen the tally more recently than I have. When I last looked, I think it was 2 or 3 point separation. So extremely close. And I voted against Amendment 3, and I've urged my fellow Missourians to do the same, but we'll see. I don't have a prediction at this point. It's very, very tight, very tight.
What do you think will be your biggest challenge as you go back, the toughest thing you're going to face?
Well, you know, we don't yet know the composition of the Senate. It looks like it's going to be a Republican Senate. Of course, we don't know who's going to be in the White House yet. But listen, there are so many things we need to get done, and I hope that whatever the final composition of the Senate is, I hope whoever wins the White House, I think it's going to be President Trump, but if it's the vice president, then I certainly hope that people will say, listen, let's come together now and let's get some things done. I think about when Bernie Sanders and I worked together to get COVID direct relief payments for every working family in the country. That is one of my finest, proudest moments, I should say, in the Senate. And, you know, Bernie and I don't have a whole lot in common, but I was willing to work with him. I like him, by the way. He's a great guy. And that, I hope, is the kind of spirit of cooperation and willingness to work together that I hope we'll find in the new Congress. Certainly it's going to be one that I pursue, because there's a lot of work to do.
Will you certify these results? I know you've said it in the past, in 2020 you had some election security concerns. Do those concerns still loom today, and will you certify the results of tonight's election?
We haven't seen the final results yet. I have not seen so far anything on the order of what we saw in 2020, which is truly unprecedented in terms of just flat-out failure to follow the Constitution. I haven't seen anything like that tonight. So, let's hopefully this will be over tonight. It would be good for the country, one way or another, if this were over tonight. But obviously, we want every vote counted. Everybody who's voted legally, they need to have their vote counted. So we'll await the results. But I'm pretty hopeful.
It was a really close race. For Missourians that didn't vote.
Oh, I would just say, listen, it's a privilege to work for all Missourians. And if you voted for me or not, the great news is that you're still my boss. So every now and then, I'll meet, well, not every now and then, it happens all the time. I'll meet somebody at the grocery store, I'll be out somewhere, and they'll say, well, I didn't vote for you, but I have this concern. And, that's great, because the truth is, listen, I work for them. They're the boss. So I'm ready to get to work tomorrow. As I said, we're back in session next week. The Senate's back in session. I'm not going to miss a beat. We have a lot to do, even in the next 2 months, before the next Congress. So I'm going to go right back to work. And it's a privilege to work for all Missourians. And I hope that folks who didn't vote for me, maybe they'll be the first to call me and say, I really need you to do something for me. Because that's how it works. And we'll hop to and be ready to work for them.
Have you heard from your opponent yet?
I have not. I have not heard from him yet, but I wish him the best. And he ran a tough campaign, hard-fought campaign, which I respect. And certainly want to give the best to him and to his family. He's a former United States Marine. I respect his service very much. And the father, I believe, of 3. And as a father of 3 myself, I can certainly respect him and his family, and I wish him the very best of whatever's next for him.
A message for his ardent supporters. A lot of
my message is it's a privilege to get to work for you. And for the folks who voted for him, hey, guess what? I work for them now. They're my boss, just the same as the people who voted for me. So it'll be a privilege to go back to work for the people of Missouri. And as I keep saying, I'm going to go back to work immediately. Congress is back in session next week. We're back at it tomorrow, as far as I'm concerned. We'll be right back at it. So there's a lot of work to do.